Every Grant, and tonight we present Little League Baseball from beautiful Lafayette Park Little League. And tonight's game will consist of the Thrifty Muffler Yankees and the G&M Construction Spikes going at it out there on the baseball field. For the Thrifty Muffler Yankees, you'll be looking at Greg Weir, Sean Fain, Randy Hooker, Bill Willis, John Clark, Rod Fouch, Brian Thomas, Robert Gunther, and Jim Clark. In the dugout will be Brian Haynes, Chris Calloway, and Frank Killebrew. The Yankees are coached by George Weir and Kevin Weir and Roger Fain. They're managed by Tom Clark. And Tom, you're up there having a little recovery time from that heart attack. I hope, wish you all your best. And for the G&M Construction Spikes, you'll be looking at Scott Burns, Keith Aspey, Mike Weishart, Greg Berthay, Jeremy Camarella, Mike King, Sammy King, Dan Griggs, Brad Fowler. And in the dugout, Kyle White and John Denmark. They're coached by Larry King, Sam King, and Keith Wiley. They're managed by Jerry Burns. Behind the plate, your umpire tonight will be Jack King. At first base will be Herb Waggle. At second base, Fred Wells. And at third base, Fred Timmons. Your pitcher for the G&M Construction Spikes is Keith Aspey. You're watching him warm up right now as he finishes his warm-up tosses. Behind the plate with Keith Aspey, with Aspey on the completing the battery is little Greg Berthay. We're just about ready to go. We'll be looking at Greg Weir leading off for the Thrifty Muffler Yankees, and if I get that tongue twister all tongue-twisted around tonight more than once, you'll know why. Try saying it yourself. The Thrifty Muffler Yankees. Okay, the first pitch ready for Greg Weir from the arm of Keith Aspey. The first pitch a little bit low and away for ball one. That's a little bit low for ball one. It found the mark as far as getting over the plate, but it came in just a little below the knee. So it's a 2-0 count on Greg Weir. And that's ball three. 3-0 the count as Weir gets out ahead of Aspey quickly here with a 3-0 count. That's outside, and leading off the ball game for the Yankees is Greg Weir getting on with a base on balls. That'll bring up the pitcher, Sean Fain, number 9. First inning. 6-inning contest here at Lafayette Park Little League. On the outside corner, strike one called. Keith finally finding the channel as he put one across. Strike two called. Sean was looking all the way on that one. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Swung on a little bouncer going right out to the pitcher. He'll throw to second base, and that's one away. Greg Weir forced out of second base for the first out of the inning. Sean Fain reaches first on a fielder's choice. And with one away, that'll bring up the first baseman, Randy Hooker, number 11. Little bouncer right back out to the pitcher off the bat of Sean Fain, and Keith very quickly turns around, fires it over to second base for the force out on Greg Weir running to second. Of course, that put Fain safe at first on the fielder's choice. Okay, now we're ready for Randy Hooker. He steps into the bat box waiting for the first delivery from Keith Aspey. A little bit outside and low for ball one to Randy. That's low and away, and the ball gets away from Berthet as Fain is able to go on to second base. And they still can't find it. They're going to try to make a play at third, but they don't do it as Fain slides into third. So on 2 stolen bases, the Yankees are threatening here in the top of the first inning. That pitch got away from Berthet, and he started one direction for it, thinking that's the way it went, but it had gone the other direction away from him. And there's another one. Fain almost tries to run in on that and decides he better not, because Aspie was up there covering home plate real well, and Berthet was right back on top of that baseball. Three 3-0 the count on Hooker. Okay, here's the 3-0 delivery. An attempted bunt goes foul. That'll go for strike one on Randy Hooker. 3-1 the count. The appeal down the first base umpire, Mr. Waggle by Berthet, was on the issue of whether Hooker had checked his swing in time. There's a swing and a foul ball down the first base side. That'll be strike two. So now we've got a full count on Hooker. And after getting out ahead of Aspie quickly with a 3-0 count, Aspie comes back, puts a couple of strikes in there on him, and we've got a full count. So we'll be looking at the payoff pitch with one away here in the top of the first inning for the thrifty Muffler Yankees. That's low and away, and that's ball four. So for the second base on balls now, Hooker finds himself on first base. And a runner now at first and third. That's Sean Fain at third, Randy Hooker at first, and the batter will be catcher number 12, Bill Willis. Willis, probably the biggest guy we've seen come to the plate up to this point, takes a real cut at that one, and it goes foul for strike one. Willis, spoken of very highly up here in the press box. That comes in on the inside corner for strike two call, and running on over to second base, trying to draw a throw was Randy Hooker. But these GM Construction boys are just a little bit too smart to fall for that old trick. So they let him have second base. So the Yankees are threatening. That's inside for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on the batter, Bill Willis. Okay, on the pass ball, Sean Fain tries to steal home, and he's thrown out. So that's 2 away as the G&M Construction Spikes have cut off every advance so far by the Yankees. But on that run into home by Fain, Hooker goes on to third base. So the Yankees still threaten here, and the count is 2-2 on the batter, Bill Willis. There's a ground ball right over to first base. He steps on the bag. That's 3 away. So Willis grounds out to the first baseman for the third out of the inning. And in the inning, there are no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. And the score at the end of 1/2 inning of play, 0-0 between the thrifty Muffler Yankees and the GM Construction Spikes. And you're watching Little League Baseball from Lafayette Park on Channel 3.
Weishart hit 3 out.
Yeah, he got 3.
He hit 3 out.
2 or 3? 3. You got 3?
Who did?
Sport years hit 3 home runs.
3 what?
Home runs.
Yeah.
Too bad they can't get Clint there, so I just get the away. How about some tape with that one?
Or just put a weight on it.
Let me go downstairs and get some tape.
That was an issue. I don't think that was an issue, really. He just showed it because the wind was blowing. Glad he did that in warm-up. Okay, we're ready to go here with the bottom half of inning number 1. GM Construction Spikes come to the plate now to see what they can do offensively against the Yankees. And leading it off will be the shortstop. And boy, he is short. Number 3, Scott Burns. Well, maybe he swings a big, tall bat. Let's see what Scotty can do. Now I know why these groundskeepers around here mow these outfields. These little guys you never find if that grass wasn't mowed. All right, here's the first pitch to Scotty. In there for strike 1 called. Pitcher Sean Fain handling the mound chores for the Yankees. Bill Willis behind the plate. Here's the second pitch, strike 2. 0-2 the count on Burns as Fain is pouring them right down the chute. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Swung on, strike 3, and that's 1 away, and Fain has his first strikeout with his first batter. Now he'll face his counterpart on the team, number 6, the pitcher, Keith Aspie. Aspie steps in there for the first pitch. Swung on, it's a little bouncer. Going out to the third baseman, the throw to first. It's a wild throw, and on the overthrow, Aspie goes on to second base, and they're going to try to pick him off at third, but he hangs up at second base. So Aspie reaches first on an error.
Aspie gets on at first baseman, number 13, Mike Whitehead.
That would be an E5. I think it was the third baseman that missed through that ball. So Aspie gets on with a error, and then as the ball is being sought, he goes on to second base. The batter now, number 13, Mike Weishart. Mike is credited with 3 home runs this year, and he takes a cut at that outside pitch, and that isn't the kind of a home run pitch that you want. That's strike 1 on Mike, but he's still got 3 home runs, and he's got a little of that table muscle down there. He looks like he could just about put it anywhere he wanted it. There's a foul ball back for strike 2. Foul ball down first base side as Weishart took a chance on another outside pitch. Maybe that's where he likes him. There's people that like pitches just a little bit on the outside. They feel like they can get more power with them. There's another foul ball. Mike is getting a little bit of that ball every time, but he's not getting it to go in the right direction. I'm sure nobody knows that any more than he does. Weishart, once again, we'll look at the 0-2 delivery. Swung on. This is a fly ball. It's going to fall into right field for a base hit. Aspie is rounding third, and he's heading for home. They cut off Weishart at second base, but Aspie scores. So the Spikes draw first blood on Weishart's single to right field. And that's the first hit of the ball game for either team. Weishart singles and driving in a run, and the Spikes lead it 1-0. The batter now, number 8, Greg Berthay, takes the first pitch, strike one. Greg is the catcher on this team. One delivery now to Greg Berthay. Strike called. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Berthay. There's a little bouncer going out to the second baseman. He scoops it over to second for 1, and that's going to be it. So that's 2 away as Weishart is forced out at second base for the second out of the inning. Berthay reaches first on a fielder's choice. And with 2 away now, that'll bring up Jeremy Camarella. And they get Berthay trying to steal second, so that's 3 away, and that retires the side. In the inning, 1 run on 1 hit. There's 1 error on the Yankees and nobody left on the base pads. So at the end of 1 complete inning of play, the Spikes take a 1-0 lead over the Yankees. And you're watching Little League Baseball on Channel 3. Leading it off now for the Yankees in the top of the second inning will be the shortstop, number 7, John Clark. John will be stepping in there for the first time. We've not gone through the batting order yet for the Yankees, so we have no stats on him, at least for today. And, of course, we don't have any season stats either. But John Clark. Could be related to the manager. Strike one as it catches the outside corner on, as John was looking all the way in on that. A little bit low for ball one. 1-1 the count on John Clark. Swing and a miss, strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Clark the batter, Yankees at the plate. They trail 1-0. Top of the second inning. They're playing catch-up. A little bit low for ball. Once again, we have an even count, this time at 2-2. And he takes a cut at a low pitch for strike 3, and that's 1 away. That'll bring up the second baseman, Rod Fouch. Rod wears the number 1 uniform. First pitch to Rod, a little bit high and outside for ball 1. Swing and a miss for strike 1 on Rod as he takes a cut at one that came in just a wee bit on the high side. Rod goes into a formation for a bunt, and the ball comes in low, bounces off the plate, ball 2. 2-1 the count now on Rod Fouch. Well, they called that a strike as he took a stab at it. I was watching the ball and forgot to watch the call. So that comes in ball 2, and that makes a 2-2 count. He went into that formation to bunt and evidently took enough of a stab at it to make the umpire want to call that a strike. So that was a strike. So this last pitch now became ball 3, and we've got a full count. 1 away here, top of the second inning for the Yankees. A little bit outside for ball 4, and he takes his base.
Rock off, Washington. Third baseman, Brian Thomas.
So Brian Thomas will come to the plate with a man on and a man out, and he'll step in there to see what he can do. He wears number 8, plays third base. Brian Thomas. A little bit low, and on the lost ball, Berthay loses it and throws it out to the second baseman. And I think that was an error on the second baseman. But safe at second is Rod Fouch. Berthay seemed to handle that throw all right, but the second baseman just missed it with his glove. Ball 1 on Thomas. Or rather, ball 2, rather. Two know the count on Thomas. Fouch at second. Fouch takes a strike as he fouls one off. He swung at one that was inside. It bounced off the handle of the bat. Two balls, one strike with one away, and the Yankees threaten with a man in scoring position. That comes in high for ball 3. Strike called as it catches the inside corner at the knees, and trying to steal third base is Rod Fouch, and his efforts are cut off short for out number 2. So 2 away, full count on Brian Thomas here in the top of the second inning. So that walk that Fouch had meets with an undesirable end as he is called out trying to steal third. And there's strike 3 on Brian Thomas for the third out of the inning. In the inning, no runs, no hits, 1 error, and no one left on the base pad. So the score at the end of 1.5 innings of play, the Spikes lead the Yankees by a score of 1-0, and you're watching Little League Baseball on Channel 3.
Push down to the third baseman, number 7, Jeremy Camarello.
Jeremy Camarello will lead off the bottom of the second inning for the Spikes. He was at bat when that third out was obtained by the Yankees back in the first inning. So he'll lead it off here in the bottom of the second inning as he'll step in there for the first time officially. Jeremy Camarello, the third baseman, wears number 7. Sean Fain still pitching, and he pulls a strike out of Camarello on that one for strike 1. Fain with 2 strikeouts. There's strike 2 called. And a timeout's called by the Spikes coach to come over and have a word of advice for young Camarello. Now we'll see how well he's able to carry out that advice. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Swung on. It's a fly ball. It's going to go foul down third base side as it goes out of play. Be strike 2 also. So the count remains 0-2 on Camarello, and I think he was just about as surprised as anybody that he made contact with that baseball as well as he did. So now he's going to learn those coaches know what they're talking about, and he'll try that one again. So he steps back in there with a little confidence this time. Here's the pitch, and lays down what turns out to be a bunt. It may fool him, but Fain comes over and picks it up and throws him out at first. So Camarella grounds out to the pitcher on a surprise bunt for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the right fielder, number 9, Mike King. So Mike King ready to receive the first pitch from Sean Fain. Hits a little bouncer, goes high. Fain picks it up, fires it to first. That's 2 away. So King grounds out to the pitcher for the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up with 2 outs, number 2, the second baseman, Sammy King. And they said he was smaller than that other little guy, whoever that was, Scott Burns. And he is. But one nice thing about having those little guys in your team, it's easy to get walks, because they don't even have a strike zone. They're so little. So Sean Fain's going to have to try to thread the needle on that, and that he does. Strike 1 to Sammy King. Sean Fain doing a pretty nice job of pitching. That's strike 2 on Sammy, that's young Sam. Here's the 0-2 delivery. A little bit outside for a ball 1, and Sam was looking at that one. But it's called strike 3. Okay, I'm trying to outguess the umpire, and he's closer to it than I am, so we'll have to call that strike 3 since he did. And that's 3 away. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. The score at the end of 2 complete innings of play is still 1-0 in favor of the Spikes over the Yankees. And you're watching Little League Baseball on Channel 3.
First batter for next fielder, Robert Gunther.
Leading it off for the Yankees here in the top of the 3rd inning will be the left fielder, number 10, Robert Gunther. Keith Aspey working on a shutout at the moment. Puts one in there on the outside corner, and Gunther went for it for strike 1. Strike 2 called as that one came in right down the chute. 0-2 the count on Robert Gunther here in the top of the 3rd inning. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and he's out of there, and that's 1 away. That's the 3rd strikeout now registered by Keith Aspey. And that'll bring up Jim Clark, the right fielder. Jimmy wears number 3. 1-0 still. Ball 1 on Clark. That evens it up at 1-1. Outside corner at the knees. One ball, 2 strikes now on Clark as he gets behind Aspey. Aspey working on 2 strikeouts in a row now. That comes in high for a ball 2. Even count at 2-2 on Clark. Swing and a foul back, out of play. Berthet finds that he can't quite make a play on that, but he was going to give it the old college try. So the count remains 2-2 with 1 away here in the top of the 3rd. Here's the delivery. Swung on, fouled back. So with that foul ball, the count remains once again at 2-2. Jim Clark, the batter, way outside. That's ball 3. And Keith kind of found himself a little bit, feeling a little funny on that pitch. Let go of it just a little bit too late, went outside. Here's the full count delivery. Outside, ball 4, and Clark's on with the walk. So that'll bring us back to the top of the order now. Number 5, Greg Weir reached base on balls in the first inning. Plays center field. He'd like to get something going here for the Yankees as they have the tie run on the base pads, and that's strike 1 on Greg as he swings at a low one. And on the pass ball, Jim Clark runs on to second base. The tie run in scoring position, the lead run at the plate. Greg Weir with an 0-1 count, 1 away. There's a foul ball as Greg swings a little bit late for strike 2.
Yeah, we're playing one. We have double digits. Come on down, watch.
Little bouncer goes foul once again for Greg Weir, and the count remains 0-2. There's a little ground ball out past Aspie to the second baseman. They pick off the third base lead man. They can't do it. The ball gets away from him. He's going to try to make it into home to tie it up. Berthet drops the ball. He's safe. Now going on to second base safely is the runner, Greg Weir. So Weir reaches first on a fielder's choice, goes on to second base. Jim Clark scoots on in on an error. He gets to third on an error throw and then comes on in for the score. So a lot of action all of a sudden here, and all of a sudden we got a new ball game. It's all tied up 1-1. And the lead run now is in scoring position out there at second base in the person of Greg Weir, and Sean Fain, the pitcher, number 9, comes to the plate. Okay, so all the altercations are altered. Everybody's quit, maybe not happy. There's a well-hit ball. It's going to fall right into shallow center field for a base hit, and the lead run goes across the plate in the person of Greg Weir, and Weir is pounded in with a nice single by Sean Fain out into shallow center field for a base hit. It's 2-1 now as the Yankees have stormed back here in the top of the third inning and taken the lead over from the Spikes. At the plate now is your first baseman, Randy Hooker, for the Yankees. And on the pass ball, or the drop ball, Berthet scrambles for it and prevents anything else from happening. So Fain is at second. Hooker's at the plate. The count is that's strike 1. Hooker with a 1-1 count now. Fain still at second. Little bunt laid down by Hooker. Perfect bunt. The throw to first gets Hooker, but at third base safely is Sean Fain. So with 2 away, Hooker grounds out to the pitcher for the second out of the inning. The batter now, number 12, the catcher, Bill Willis. He's the cleanup man in the batting order. And there's nothing he'd like to do better than right now than to clean up the base pads and get that lead cinched up a little bit. And he takes a college cut at that one for strike one. The 0-1 delivery now to Willis. Low and away for a ball. Ground ball out to center field. That'll bring in one run. And Willis is going to hold it up at first base with a nice single. That gives the edge a little bit more to the Yankees as they've got 3 runs now here in this third inning. A big inning for the Yankees as they came from a 1-0 deficit. They now lead it 3-1, and there's 2 away and a runner on first. John Clark, the batter, takes the first pitch in there for strike one. Last time up, John struck out. Inside for a ball. Willis holding up at first base, looking for an opportunity, not finding it as of yet. Now he's found it in a long throw to second base. Sliding under the tag safely, Bill Willis with a stolen base on his edge of the roster. Here's the 1-1 delivery now to Clark. Comes in right across the plate for strike 2 called. Strike 3 call, and that's 3 away to retire the side, but not before some damage is done. For the Yankees in the third inning, they get 3 runs on 2 hits. And there were no errors. Yes, there was 1 error. Correction, no errors. And 1 man left on the base pad. So the score at the end of 2 1/2 innings of play, the Yankees come storming back, and they lead the Spikes by a score of 3-1. And you're watching Little League Baseball on Channel 3. As the Spikes step in there, we'll be looking at the left fielder, number 5, Dan the Man Griggs. Strike 1 on Dan. 0-1 the count. That comes in high and inside. Dan looks him over, decides he's not going to swing at that one. That evens the count up at 1-1. Little bouncer over to the second baseman, over to first in time for the out. So Dan Griggs grounds out to the second baseman for the first out of the inning, giving it the old college try. And that's 1 away. Brad Fowler now steps in there, the center fielder. Where's number 4? First pitch to Fowler. A little bit on the inside for ball 1. In there, strike 1 called as Brad kind of stepped back on that one, thinking it was going to move in on him. And the only thing I did was move on a little bit on the inside of the plate, but it caught the inside corner. In there, strike 2 called at the knees, inside corner of the plate. And Brad didn't like that call, but he's not the boss right now. Ball 2 to even the count up at 2-2. Strike 3 called, and Brad goes down looking, and that's 2 away. Third strikeout now for Sean Fain for the Yankees. And that'll bring us to the top of the order now with Scott Burns. Swing and a miss for strike 1 by Scott. Bottom of the third inning here. 3-1 in favor of the Yankees. That's high wild pitch, and that goes for ball 1. Nobody on base, nobody can advance. So really no damage done. That's high and inside for ball 2. Strike 2 as he takes a cut at a fastball. 2-2 the count with 2 away here. Bottom of inning number 3. That's strike 3 as he goes down swinging for the third out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. The score at the end of 3 complete innings of play now. The Yankees 3, the Spikes 1, and you're watching Little League Baseball from Lafayette Park Little League on Channel 3. Okay, ready to go here with the top of number 4. Now playing left field for the Spikes is Kyle Wiley, and in right field is John Denmark, and now playing center, who has just moved over there from right, is Mike King. So he was over there in right and moved to center. The first batter is Rod Fouch of the Yankees as he looks at the first pitch in there called strike 1. Last time up, Fouch reached base on balls. He goes into a bunt formation, pops one up, and Berthay scoots over there and reaches way out and pulls it in, and that's 1 away. So Fouch fouls out to the catcher for the first out of the inning. And so that'll bring up number 8, the third baseman, Brian Thomas. And young Mr. Berthay, he really had to stretch on that one and just got over there in time to pull it in. That's outside and high for ball 1. Strike 1, ball 1 now on the batter, Brian Thomas. Yankees trying to pad their lead here in the top of the 4th inning. That one comes inside for ball 2. And Brian didn't really move on that pitch. He just kind of bent back and just let it go by him. And that's good. Strike 2 called, because it shows he's not afraid of the baseball. Strike 3 called, and that's 2 away. And Keith Aspie with that strikeout just registers strikeout number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's coming along pretty good, although his team trails after that big 3-run third inning for the Yankees. So with 2 away now, Chris Calloway steps to the plate. He's the left fielder and puts one right over the top of the glove of the pitcher Aspie out into center field. And Chris Calloway is going to try to make it to second base, and he does, standing up. A double for a little Chris Calloway.
Chris Calloway gets on right fielder Brian Haynes.
So Chris Calloway comes off the bench to help the cause of the Yankees, and the batter now with strike number 1 is Brian Haynes. Chris Calloway out there a little bit proud of himself, and rightly so, after knocking that little double out into center field. Nobody seemed to be able to find the baseball to get it in to cut him off. Strike 2 called on Haynes. 2 away here in the top of the 4th inning. That's outside for ball 1 rather. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Brian Haynes, the right fielder. First time at the plate for Brian. Brian tries to lay down a little bunt there, and it goes foul. And it's on the 3rd strike, so that's strike 3. So with 3 outs, that concludes the inning, the top of the 4th. No runs on 1 hit. That nice double by young Chris Calloway. No errors and 1 man left on the base pad. So the score remains at the end of 3.5 innings of play. The Yankees 3, the Spikes 1, and you're watching Little League Baseball on Channel 3.
Out of the pitcher, number 6, Keith Aspie.
Okay, leading it off for the Spikes is Keith Aspie, the pitcher, takes the first pitch outside for a ball 1. He connects with that as he drives it deep into right left field, and or the center side of left field, and gets himself a stand-up double. So Aspie threatens here with a powerhouse double out into, maybe we should call it left center field. And leading off the inning now, the Spikes begin to threaten. Coming to the plate now is 3-home run hitter for the season so far, number 13, first baseman Mike Weishart. A home run here will tie up the ball game. He represents the tie run of the game. And he gets hit with the first pitch, and he's on.
Mike Weishart gets hit with a pitch from catcher number 8, Greg Bethea.
Okay, Weishart at first, Aspie at second. Greg Berthay, the catcher, takes the first pitch deep inside for ball 1. Berthay connects over the head of the second baseman into right field. That's going to bring in a run. There's going to be a play at the plate. And he's called safe. And while they're holding the ball, the other players run on. So Berthay will be credited with a single. He goes to second on a throw into home. Weishart goes on to third. Scoring is Aspie all the way from second base. So Berthay drives in a run with that hot bat of his. He connected with the baseball the last time up, reached on a fielder's choice, however. This time he gets a good solid single, into right field, bringing in the score by Keith Aspey. So Aspey scores. He's declared safe, although some of the fans don't quite agree with that. But they're not in charge right now. Mr. King is. And with Aspey's score, the score of the ball game tightens up now, and the Yankees only lead it by a score of 3-2. And the tie run is represented at third base in the person of Weishart, and the lead run out there at second by Greg Berthay. The batter, Jeremy Camarella, with ball one, looks at the 1-0 delivery in there for strike one called. That's strike two, as Camarella was really going after that one. One and two delivery, that's strike three. And that's just the first out of the inning. So Mike King, the center fielder, number 9, comes to the plate. Last time up, he grounded out to the pitcher in that short second inning. He'd like to improve on that right now. Here's the first pitch to Mike King. Comes in outside for ball one. Foul ball. Looks like it's going to go out of play. No play being able to be made on it. It'll be strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 on. The score, the Spikes trail 3-2 as they try to get back into this ball game. Here's the 1-1 delivery to Camarella, or rather to Mike King. And that's ball 2. Strike 2 called, and they left Mike looking at that one as Fain fired his fastball right down the channel. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. That's 2 away. That'll bring up the second baseman, number 2, Sammy King. Last time up, Sammy struck out. Fain trying to pitch his way into a better situation for the Yankees. They lead the ball game 3-2. They trailed 1-0, then went into a 3-1 lead. Now the Spikes are coming back here in the 4th inning. There's a little ground ball right out to the pitcher Fain and over to first, and King grounds out to the pitcher for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before some damage is done. There's 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on the base pads by the Spikes. And so at the end of 4 complete innings of play, things have tightened up here a little bit. Thrifty Muffler leads it, but only by a score of 3-2. And you're watching Little League Baseball on Channel 3. Leading it off in the top of the 5th for the Yankees, number 5, Greg Weir, and he gets hit by a pitch, and he'll be on first base. Greg Weir has reached a base on balls, reached base on a fielder's choice. Now he's reached base on a hit pitch. There's nothing left to reach base on except a hit. Sean Fain, the pitcher, now steps in there with a single and a fielder's choice in there for strike one called on the first pitch. That's 0-1 the count on Sean Fain, the pitcher. An attempted bunt goes for strike two. So Fain gets out behind the pitcher Aspey with an 0-2 count. Little ground ball going out to the shortstop. He runs over and forces Greg Weir out at second base for the first out of the inning. So Sean Fain is safe at first on a fielder's choice. And that'll bring up number 11, Randy Hooker, who reached base on balls the first time up. Next time up, he grounded out to the pitcher. So he's looking for his first hit. He hits a high popper, getting under it. It's the second baseman. The shortstop said, I called for it, but the second baseman caught it. But however you want to look at it, Hooker flies out to the second baseman for the second out of the inning. And the Spikes are trying to slow down this Yankee offense while they keep chipping away at the lead. Bill Willis, the catcher, comes to the plate now. He's grounded out and singled, so he's looking for his second hit of the ball game. Bill Willis with the first pitch from Keith Aspey. Lines one, right past the first baseman into right field. That'll put Sean Fain all the way around to third. Sean's going to come on in and score. That'll be one run knocked in by that beautiful triple by Bill Willis. And they try to get him at third base and throw the ball away. And Willis comes on in to score. So Fain scores off the bat of Bill Willis. And now Willis comes on in on the air to score. So the Yankees have registered a couple of more runs to kind of help out their side. Beautiful long liner clear to the fence down to the 200-foot marker by Bill Willis. And that brings up John Clark with two away. It comes in there for strike one. Clark has a couple of strikeouts so far. He'd like to get him a little bunt or get him something. One away, or two away here in the top of the fifth inning for the Yankees. But boy, they've scored two big runs, and the Spikes were just creeping up on them, trailed them by only one run, and now they're down by three. And that's a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on the batter, Clark. That's outside. That's inside. Now we've got a full count. Here's the full count delivery. In there, strike three called, and that retires the side for the third out of the inning. But not before some real definite damage has been done here by the Yankees. In the inning, there were 2 runs on one hit. There was 1 error, and there were no one left on the base pad. So the score at the end of 4 1/2 innings of play, the Yankees lead the Spikes by a score of 5-2. And again, we remind you that you're watching Little League Baseball on Channel 3.
Brian, be ready. Be ready.